Key European leaders are gathering at the White House Monday for President Donald Trump's meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy. According to Associated Press, first to arrive at the White House's South Lawn was NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte. He was followed shortly by European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. Other leaders expected Monday include French President Emmanuel Macron, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, Italian Premier Giorgia Meloni and Finnish President Alexander Stubb. On the table for discussion are possible NATO-like security guarantees that Ukraine would need for any peace with Russia to be durable. Putin opposes Ukraine joining NATO outright, yet Trump's team claims the Russian leader is open to allies agreeing to defend Ukraine if it comes under attack.
No.
Ready doors, ready pop, ready open.
Mr. Secretary,
This is okay?
you look marvelous. Very handsome as always. Nice to see you.
Ready close,
Thank you so much.
ready shut.
How are you? Yes, we know the advisor. So good to see you. So good to see you.
Momentous day.
Ready two, ready face. Ready two, ready doors, ready pop, ready open.
Madam President, let me see you again. So lovely to see you.
Ready close, ready shut. Ready two, ready face.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer arrived at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland ahead of a meeting at the White House with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, European leaders, and US President Donald Trump. According to Associated Press, speaking to reporters on board his plane, Starmer said ending the war in Ukraine was in everyone's interests but that any peace deal reached had to be fair and just. "We've got to get this right. We've got to make sure there is peace, that it is lasting peace," Starmer said. The European leaders were left out of Trump's summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin last Friday, and they want to safeguard Ukraine and the continent from any widening aggression from Moscow. Many are coming with the explicit goal of protecting Ukraine's interests, a rare and sweeping show of diplomatic force. Monday's showing is a sign both of the progress and the possible distress coming out of the Friday summit, as many of Europe's leaders are descending on Washington with the explicit goal of protecting Ukraine's interests, a rare and sweeping show of diplomatic force. With Zelensky and several European leaders in town for hastily arranged meetings, the area around the White House bulged with security. The European political heavyweights expected in Washington are Macron, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, Italian Premier Giorgia Meloni, Finnish President Alexander Stubb, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, and NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte.
This war in Ukraine has been going on a really long time now, 3+ years. Hugely impacted Ukrainians who suffered hugely, but it's also impacted Europe, it's impacted every single family and community in the United Kingdom. And so everybody wants it to end, not least the Ukrainians. But we've got to get this right. We've got to make sure there is peace, that it is lasting peace, and that it is fair and that it is just. And that's why I'm travelling to Washington with other European leaders to discuss this face to face with President Trump and President Zelensky, because it's in everyone's interests, it's in the UK's interests that we get this right.
Prime Minister, how optimistic are you?
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy will visit the White House for the second time, accompanied by European leaders. They intend to convince U.S. leader Donald Trump to abandon his pro-Russian positions and side with Kiev, The Guardian write. The publication recalls that Zelenskyy will be accompanied to Washington by British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, French President Emmanuel Macron and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. Their task is to use their collective influence and personal connections with Trump to persuade him to reconsider his position on Ukraine. According to The Guardian, European leaders hope to remind Trump of the importance of the EU and the UK as the largest trading partners of the United States and the incompatibility of the Russian economy with the economies of Western countries. The very fact that European politicians quickly agreed to join Zelenskyy, according to The Guardian, indicates serious concerns about the consequences of the US-Russia summit. But experts say that Trump has closed the door to Ukraine's demands for NATO and Crimea, while Zelenskyy refuses to make concessions on the territorial issue. The Guardian says, emphasizing that the Ukrainian president could almost end the war if he wanted to, the US president dismissed the possibility of Ukraine joining NATO or taking back Crimea, which was occupied by Russia, the article emphasizes. In addition, Trump said in a statement on the Truth social media platform that Ukraine's accession to NATO and the return of Crimea, which Russia annexed in 2014, are out of the question. Arriving in Washington for the meeting late on Sunday, Zelenskyy said he hoped Ukraine's shared strength with the US and European counterparts would compel Russia to peace. "I am grateful to the President of the United States for the invitation. We all equally want to end this war swiftly and reliably," Zelenskyy posted on the Telegram messaging app. "And I hope that our shared strength with America and with our European friends will compel Russia to real peace." Recall, on August 15, a summit between Trump and Putin took place in Alaska. The head of the White House stated that no deal could be reached following the meeting, but the negotiations were assessed positively. But Trump accused the media of misrepresenting his great meeting in Alaska, an encounter widely seen as a victory for Putin and a humiliation for the US president. Trump claimed he had made big progress on Russia, without giving details.